Hello, one and all. This is WellArmedWithTacos, and welcome back to Let's Play Deus Ex. When we last left off, we were dealing with a whole variety of foes. A robot that keeps scanning and never stops scanning, and pretty much just everything in between. Ooh, there's some goodies here. And another code. The lock on the coolant system. Interesting stuff. So let's save and keep moving. A med kit, which I will actually just use. A rebreather data cube with an image. This area is apparently radioactive. It is. So radioactive it actually hurts quite a bit. We have a gray here. And instead of turning my radioactive shield on, I actually turned on something else. This might kill us. Yep. That was indeed far enough, Bob. That was indeed far enough. We're gonna try that again. Let's get some... Nah, well, might as well. We'll be back through anyways. Turn this on. Get through here. Without taking all that unnecessary damage. Leave it on. Because it makes killing the greys a whole heck of a lot easier. Another one of the blue rods.
Soon I will leave this body and death will have no meaning.
Bob line we've heard before. This needs to go away. And bot security. Interesting. Security. I could turn it on, but I'm not 100% sure why I want to. Okay. So we close down that area. The only area we haven't been to is that area with the lightning bolts that hurt us so bad. Oh, and I guess there's a few doors down here we haven't really taken a crack at. Let's go about trying to do that. Get down here in one piece. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and hack this, because I know the code, but... There's the other end of that. And that's just the pain, not fun at all type rooms. And we can hear spider bots on the other end of this. At least I think we can hear spider bots on the other end of this.
The reactor's coolants run through this facility. Cut the flow, then return to the reactor lab to initiate a meltdown.
Go ahead. Blow this place sky high. You might get rid of me, but you'll take down Aquinas, the power grid, the whole electronic infrastructure. Is that what you want? Are you completely nuts?
That's big talk coming from you, Paige. Lots of guys over here. Lots of security. But that's okay, because we have lots of rockets. At this stage of the game, might as well use them. Ooh. Where is that little... Where are you running? Goodbye. Anyways, at this stage, we might as well use the rockets literally. The med kit. Let's see. Ooh, dead guy up there. I wonder if he has anything helpful. Oh, maybe that's a little spider bot in the area where we have it locked up. What do you have? A multi-tool and a biocell. Cool stuff. Any more guards? Probably. Let's take the high road. Easier to start from the top and work your some way down.
Someone's there. I can hear you.
Can you?
Guy in a coat. I'm checking it out.
Are you? Come here. You know you want to.
Did anybody else hear something?
He was about to chuck a lamb. More rockets! Again, don't mind if I do. I'm glad we came up here first. Go all the way down here. There's a vent. That might not be necessary. A lawn, another med kit. And this.
You will stay away from the coolant controls. I will be destroyed if the reactors become unstable. And without me, will be chaos.
Chaos indeed. I know what ending I'm going for. Beep.
Good. Now go to the reactor lab.
On my way.
I get the picture. You want a piece of the pie, or you're going to toss the whole pie out the window. Fair enough.
I like that analogy.
You can have anything you want. How about Europe, your own continent? Just let me complete my preparations.
There's Bob trying to haggle with us. I told you he would. I knew he would. I remembered correctly that he would try.
That's far enough.
But I don't know if you can actually kind of take him up on it. Because I think that's kind of like the fool's ending thing. Like if you believe him, you get everything that's coming to you and more. Like, I'm going with the Tracer Tong ending. Blow the whole facility sky high, and Bob with it, because, frankly, I don't much care for Bob. If Bob dies in the process, I'm perfectly okay with that. Goodbye, Bob.
You can't shoot your way out of this one. My UCs can assemble new creatures in seconds.
I've locked all your UCs away, and I'm about to blow this facility sky high. Why the Tracer Tong ending? Well, to me, it's the best ending. I think canonically, based off Invisible War, the Helios option is the proper ending. And I've heard a lot of debate.
No, go back. Think what we could do with Area 51.
Think of what you could do with Area 51 specifically, Morgan. I've heard a lot of debate that the Helios ending is kind of the best ending, the most good guy ending of the bunch. And there's a lot of merit to that. If you are approaching it from the idea that it is a benevolent dictator, and Helios actually does say or do everything he says he's going to do. There is no one here. We've been over this. This is the wrong area. Yeah, my bad. If you believe Helios truly intends to rule things as fairly as he can with JC's influence, you know what? We're here. If you believe all that, then that is a good ending. However, there's a lot of debate about whether or not Helios, well, to begin with, can he even be trusted? And more importantly, assuming he is completely trustworthy, is having a emotionless, completely objectivist robot the best decision for mankind as a whole anyways? Wow, that's not worth doing. I mean, I guess we'll grab the biocell. We're not going to be needing those 7 lockpicks, so no real harm done. What direction are we going? We're going down this way. Nope, further down. And quick saving as we go. But you have to believe that Helios is the best decision to run humanity in the first place, and I don't. I don't. There was no way.
You will need to activate the failsafe switch at the base of each reactor. The meltdown can be initiated afterward from the control room.
There's no way we were going to be able to get to these endings without me, like, going into my feelings about,
Now the other one.
the game and its endings and all that stuff. It's all very much based off, your own decisions and who you are and all that kind of stuff.
Go to the control
Or alternatively, just
room.
whatever
Trigger the three
ending
ion
you're trying to
charges.
pick.
When they're on, engage the reaction chambers. No one's run these at full capacity before. Without coolant, an explosion is inevitable. Get ready to run.
I think the guy up here turns
Don't know
hostile.
what you're doing. Everything will be lost. Everything. The world will fall to pieces. No one will be in control. It will be chaos. Complete chaos.
I think this guy turns hostile. Maybe, maybe not.
Hey, you better not do that.
Oh, I'm doing that.
Hey, you better not do that.
Oh, I'm doing it. Beep.
Really? They can't handle full power.
I'd start running if I were you, dude. Beep. I'm gonna do it.
Really? They can't handle full power.
Beep. There he goes! I knew he'd try eventually. Where were we? But yeah, there's a lot of debate that Helios is the good ending. Me personally, look, I am very much an Isaac Asimov kind of guy. I know the entire system is like I have read way too much science fiction about how perfect robots and perfect AIs become a whole lot less perfect over time or after certain events occur. It's better to leave people in charge. And I don't trust Morgan or the Illuminati because I don't know about you, but they talked about returning things to a 20th century capitalist scenario, and I happen to be living in a 21st century capitalist scenario, and it's hell! So I don't want that either. If we have to go back to even older times than that, then that's what we do. Now, me personally...
Warning. Critical power safeties have been disengaged.
I'll talk over this.
Immediate area.
JC, the net's going. The net's going black. JC, no more infolinks. Transmissions of any kind. We'll start again. Live in villages. If you receive this, if you survive, then find us. Find us.
Helios! What's happening?
The safety interlocks for the power generator have been disengaged.
Engage them! Immediately!
I cannot. Our systems are not interfaced with the generator technology.
No!
Final safety warning. Nominal functional levels will be exceeded in 3, 2, 1.
Yesterday we obeyed kings and bent our necks before emperors, but today we kneel only to truth. I believe that is Khalil Gibran? I don't know. I do not personally believe that this is going to be all that bad. Basically, we're just kind of knocking out the internet. That's kind of about it. The technology isn't going away. That's not how technology works. I realize in this setting a lot of it is connected to the centralized computer system that we just blew up, but again, that's not how it... not everything. Tracer Tom talks about living in villages, but it's not really gonna be like that. It's gonna be closer to, like, at worst, like, early 20th, late 19th century living in cities and major metropolises. It's gonna work out. Basically, we're just knocking down the internet. And in today's world, but that would be a very bad thing to do. But in this world where it's all controlled by these huge shadowy organizations with all the power in the world, it's better to do that here. And this is the ending I wanted to go for. There are lots of other ways to see the other endings on YouTube or other sites, so if that's what you want to do, if you want to go look at the other endings, feel free to knock yourself out. I am not going to be aiming to get the other endings and record them here for you all. I just don't care to. I've seen them before. I know how they go. Again, you can easily get them if you want to see them. You don't need to see me get them. We shut down all the UCs, so it would have been pretty easy to get the other ones. You wouldn't have missed all that much. You would basically just be seeing a cutscene. But yeah, ultimately the three endings are essentially kill the internet, hand the internet over to... I've already forgotten his name. Morgan Everett. Hand the internet over to the Morgan Everett and the Illuminati, which was kind of how it was a long time before Deus Ex started, like the actual plot of the game starts, or take it over yourself with the help from Helios. And I do think that is the canonical ending, but like I said, I don't trust AIs with that much control. Just not. Wow, Deborah Jolly, you did a lot of roles in this game. Did you do Nicolette? Looking. No, somebody else did Nicolette. Ellen Losey also did a lot. She did Nicolette Duclair, as you can see there. But yeah, I took the ending I took, and I'm happy with it. To a point. Of the endings that are in this game, I'm happy with it. There should have been more endings, but this game's story was majorly cut back so it could be released on time. The whole story arc about you actually joining in with the Illuminati and all that stuff. Or not the Illuminati. MJ12, like you continuing to work for UNATCO and MJ12 and everything. There was supposed to be options for that, but they just didn't play out. Or rather, they didn't have time to finish it. So, this is the Deus Ex we wound up with. And I'd like to talk about Deus Ex in more detail, but I'm not going to be doing that now. I'm going to let the credits roll, and then I'll be back to mix in something with this video to talk about that. I actually need to take care of some other business, and I don't want to be distracted when I'm trying to talk about the Deus Ex ending. So I'll let the credits roll, and we'll be back in a bit. So until you hear from me again in this same video, enjoy the credits. Okay, and we're back, and you should be able to hear me. I went ahead and paused or muted the menu music because although the title music for Deus Ex is one of the greatest title music pieces of all time, I'm not debating that, it absolutely is, I don't want it getting in the way of my final thoughts and analysis. So let's go ahead and do that now. My opinion on Deus Ex hasn't changed over the course of this Let's Play. It hasn't really gotten worse either, but it hasn't gotten any better. I still say Deus Ex is a fine game. And yeah, maybe it deserved to be Game of the year it came out. I don't remember all the games that came out that year. It's certainly a fine game. It's a solid, again, I would say 7 out of 10. On a scale, if 5 is perfectly mediocre, perfectly average, Deus Ex is a 7. Maybe if you catch me in a good mood, or if you're playing it in the way, like if you're doing the, what you would call, like, proper playthrough, maybe an 8. But a 7 on average, and quite possibly like a 5 or 6 if you're choosing to play Deus Ex in a non-stealthy way, because that's part of the problem with Deus Ex. I've talked about this before, but I missed Deus Ex when it first came out. I got to play it later after years and not years and years, but years, at least a few years of hype. And the advertising for Deus Ex and all the hype I ever heard from Deus Ex was it was a game with freedom of choice, a game where you could play your version of JC Denton however you wanted to play your version of JC Denton. So when I played the game the first time and had my opportunity to play a super augmented cyber soldier, this awesome dealer of death, I went into it with an attitude of, well, I want to be this awesome killing machine who's like indestructible, like Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator or something. And I learned very quickly that this game pretends you can do anything you want, but more or less, if you don't play stealth, you're getting punished. And my opinion on that hasn't changed. And other than Invisible War, which I have not personally played, the Deus Ex franchise has not moved away from this. It is exactly the same way as it was before. Hold on a moment. Sorry about that. Where were we? But to this day, with Human Revolution and Mankind Divided, Deus Ex continues to be a franchise that tries to sell itself on allowing the player to kind of play it however they want, and then again severely punishes you for not knowing the stealth route. Other than Invisible War, I've played all of the Deus Ex games, multiple playthroughs, and almost always I initially do a extremely, like, no stealth at whatsoever kind of playthrough, and then as stealthy as possible playthrough. Some of them I played more than twice, and I've done, like, whatever I wanted to do. Like this original Deus Ex, I played way more than twice. But I've for my own point, I've made it a point to make sure I went through the games and played it as not stealthily as possible, and then as stealthily as possible. And I definitely have to stand by my claims that if you don't play it stealthy, you get rewarded with less experience, which is a punishment. There's no other terms about it. If you're not giving the player as much experience for one playthrough style as they would another, that's punishment. And you're just going to have a lot harder time because it's just easier to do things stealthy. It's fine. It's a stealth game. It'd be like if you wanted to play Thief, just running around, swinging your sword at everything. First of all, you couldn't play on the hard difficulty because you wouldn't be able to kill anyone. But like if you played on normal difficulty, if you just wanted to run around being as loud as possible, stabbing everyone to death, you would have a hard time. But you're not meant to do that. But Thief never pretended you weren't supposed to do that. Deus Ex likes to lie to itself and lie to the audience and tell them, hey, you can play however you want. And that has really, really left a cloud over the Deus Ex game and the Deus Ex franchise for me. I'm never going to let that go until they stop lying when the next Deus Ex game comes out and just say it's a stealth game, or if they actually keep to their words and basically let the player play however they want and give them no less experience for it. But other than that, to talk about Deus Ex, the original itself, it's a bad stealth game because it's a stealth game based off extremely short distances of which you can be seen, and a very, very poorly implemented cover system that doesn't really exist. It's basically just a line of sight system. Guards have line of sight within a perfect half circle around them. So if you're behind them, they can't see you. And then they can't see you if you're too far away. But other than that, unless you're behind like a box or something, they're going to see you. And that has been the basis of which quite a few stealth games have tried to base themselves around. And they're all bad. They're all really, really, really bad. A good stealth system, you either have to... There's basically only three ways to do it. One, you use a shadow system like Thief does, and very few games do that. Thief does, Styx does. I cannot recommend the Styx games enough. Those games are fantastic if you haven't played them. Thief, Styx, those are the only ones that come to mind. The other two systems are a hiding plain sight system. This one is the most easy example I can give are the Hitman games. Basically, games where you use disguises or other such things where you don't have to really hide at all, but you're still trying to be stealthy about it. And then there are actual cover-based stealth systems. And cover-based stealth systems do not work in first-person shooters. They just don't. And that's why a lot of stealth games end up having issues. Cover-based stealth systems only work in-game, mostly like third-person shooters. And there have been third-person shooters that are cover-based stealth systems that actually work kind of well. Because with that camera angle and with cover in a third-person shooter as being a definitely defined thing that you can, like, put your back onto and things like that, that works. Good example, the Sniper Elite games, at least a few Sniper Elite games I played. I can't speak for the whole franchise, but I played like 2 and 3, I think. Good examples of that. They're third-person, cover-based, and when you have a third-person cover-based shooter, cover is, like I said, it's defined. It's very well defined to the player, and because it's so well defined, it's also very easy to define for the AI whether or not they should or should not be able to see you. And the camera, being able to see around angles, not just where your eyes are, really helps for those kinds of things. But Deus Ex is a bad stealth game because basically you're behind someone or you're not. That's it. You're behind them or you're far away. Those are the only things you have going for you. Or you can use like the camo augment or the camo item. But other than those things, those are limited options. It's a mediocre shooter because the gunplay isn't even all that cool, and it's not satisfying. One of the most important things for a first-person shooter is that the gunplay be satisfying, and the guns just aren't satisfying in Deus Ex. The melee weapons aren't satisfying. I don't super regret going a melee build because the Dragon 2 sword, once you get it, does so much damage. But the melee system, it's hard to hit targets, and it's not satisfying when you actually hit them because the sword doesn't have a good feedback, doesn't have good audio feedback. So the combat sucks. The only things that this game has going for it, and the things it does the best, are its story, what story it was allowed to have after a lot of the content got cut, unfortunately, and its immersion. Deus Ex is a very immersive game, and in terms of being an immersive game, sometimes called an immersive sim, it does a very good job at that. It's very easy to get immersed in the Deus Ex world. It's very easy to find yourself almost becoming J.C. Denton or whatever, playing the game and doing certain things that like, if you know what I'm talking about with an immersive sim, you know what I'm talking about. It's hard to describe otherwise, but it's very good at being an immersive sim. And what story is here is good. It's just a shame that because a lot of the story got cut out, you're presented a lot of time. There's a few pivotal moments in the game where the player really should have been given a choice and then wasn't given a choice. And that really, really hurts the story, unfortunately. And yeah, there's just not a lot to say. I'll probably go into more detail in the comments or the the description of the video. As always, please, if you want more in-depth like detail or review, or I don't really review, but if you want a more in-depth version of my feelings about a Let's Play and a game about the Let's Play and whatever, please check the description for the ending video of any of the Let's Plays I've done. I always go into way more detail there because it's always easier for me to put my thoughts into text than it is for me to do this unscripted voice work that I do. As always, this entire Let's Play was unscripted. This ending bit here is unscripted. Everything I do is unscripted. So if I mumble and I ramble and I get off topic, that's why. But overall, Deus Ex is a perfectly fine game. I don't think it deserves this legacy that it has. The eternal joke of whenever somebody mentions Deus Ex, somebody else has to reinstall it. Like, I don't think it's deserving of that. I would rather play Thief any day of the week than Deus Ex. But it's a fine game. It has its problems. It's far from perfect. And I've done it now, so I can move on from that. I kind of feel, even before I started recording this, even like back when I started the channel and just started off with Doom 3, I've always felt that Deus Ex is kind of the, it's like a trial. It's a rite of passage for Let's Players. Because every Let's Player I followed at the time, and a lot of them I still follow now, have all done Deus Ex. And of all the reviewers I've seen so far, or all the Let's Plays I followed, my opinion is the most negative. So, goes to show you, there's not a lot of people in the same camp as me. Although I know a few. I do know a few who feel the same way I do. But it's fine. It's 7 out of 10. When we come back, as of the ending of this Let's Play, it's going to be all in on OpenXCom now to try to get that done. I have to find a base or a battleship to take a commander alive so I can go to Mars. That's going to take a while because it's just a random chance. So it could take no time at all. I could find a base the very next video. Who knows? But it's entirely up to random chance at that point. So once again, as a reminder, there's going to be no Let's Play following this one. I want to transition to 1 Let's Play a week, 6 videos a week. There should be a Let's Play something up this week as of this recording. Should be. No promises, but I intend to record one. So, without further ado, this has been Let's Play Deus Ex. Goodbye, everybody, and don't get wrapped up in any major conspiracies that involve the Illuminati and strange men known as Bob who want to turn themselves into light so that they can join up with a omnipotent, completely unemotional AI that intends to rule over mankind by getting rid of traffic. I think that was the story.